It's a rivalry nearly as old as international women's soccer itself. The United States and Canada first met back in 1986, and today they square off for a claim to the top spot in our region. Kate Markgraf, Sebastian Salazar with you for this, the championship match of CONCACAF Olympic qualifying. Both U.S. and Canada clinching their place at this summer's Rio Games thanks to matching victories in Friday's semifinal round. And Kate, while each team has essentially secured that summer trip to Brazil, still those continental bragging rights very much up for grabs this evening.
Well, the hard part is already done. They've already qualified for the Olympics. Now this is another chance for the coaches to vet the young players and give them some much needed experience. It's also a chance to test the teams against quality competition. Expect a competitive match because both teams have a physical presence and an ability to pressure for 90 minutes.
We've heard a lot about the dynamics of this rivalry over the last 48 hours. Big sister, little sister gets thrown out there a lot. Canadians may not like it, but it's essentially true. Last 30 games, 25 American victories, 5 draws, 0 wins for Canada. Some of those games have been close, Kate, but the U.S. has been dominant.
Well, they're always come out physically strong, and you know you're going to leave the game with a couple of black and blue marks. They historically play a very destructive brand of soccer, but that was out of necessity because they didn't have the depth or the same level of quality players. But times have changed. They've added some young, new fast players who can create some dangerous opportunities for them.
Right now, let's send it down to the field for the playing of the national anthems of both Canada and the United States. As we mentioned, both of these teams arriving to today's final courtesy of Friday victories in the semifinal round. Canada 3-1 over Costa Rica. The United States 5-0 over Trinidad and Tobago. Kate, we now take a look at the starting 11 for Canada under John Herdman.
Well, the big change for them, other than a couple roster spots different, would be Michelle Prince. You'll notice that she's taken over Christine Sinclair's spot. And the United States coming out in a 4-5-1. Their lineup has not changed since Friday night.
Jill Ellis in charge of the American side, the reigning World Cup champions, #1 in the latest FIFA rankings, Canada 11th. They hosted the tournament last summer, ended up in the quarterfinals, falling to England. 75 degrees in Houston, Texas, a bit overcast. Your officials tonight, center ref Quetzali Alvarado, Emperatriz Ayala of El Salvador, and Shirley Perello of Honduras will be the assistants. Your fourth official from Nicaragua, Tatiana Guzman. As we take a look at the captains, and there's quite a bit of history between those two right there. Melissa Tancredi and Carly Lloyd. Lloyd, your 2015 World Player of the Year. Kate, we mentioned the officials. Hope Solo, in the lead up to this game, said matches between the United States and Canada tend to be, quote, bloodbaths. It's a big ask for the Mexican center ref today, Quetzali Alvarado.
Oh, it's going to be key for them to keep control of this game. Typically, this game gets very aggressive right from the get-go. The level of the referee has to be equal to the level of play.
This, the 56th all-time meeting between these two nations in international play. 47 wins for the United States, 3 Canadian victories, and 5 draws. The last time Canada beat the U.S., you got to go all the way back to March of 2001. At the Algarve Cup in Portugal, a 3-0 victory for the Canadians. The goal scorers that day, legend Charmaine Hooper, and a teenage Christine Sinclair on the bench today, Kate.
Yeah, but I don't think the United States had the regular starters. I don't remember playing in that game. We did take some time off after coming in second at the Olympics in 2000, which was late September, early October. So that was a young, inexperienced team playing against Canadians. But the quality of Canada has improved incredibly over the past 10 years. And especially fast forwarded by head coach John Herdman. When he took over, he developed the older players and expanded the whole player pool of the youth side.
Both of these teams, in essence, going through a youth movement almost parallel to each other. It's a very interesting look at the development of the women's game in CONCACAF. Kickoff moments away at Houston's BBVA Compass Stadium. And we're underway. The CONCACAF Olympic qualifying final, United States versus Canada. U.S. in the all-whites, going right to left on your screen. Canada, the all-reds, moving left to right. Melissa Tancredi fires it back to Alicia Chapman, knotted away by Megan Klingenberg. Some confusion at the heart of the American defense early. Tancredi applying the pressure, and the Canadians will earn an early corner kick.
Well, that's something Canada can do that U.S. has not seen this entire tournament, which is pressure the United States in their own defensive third.
The Canadians have been lethal on corner kicks throughout this competition. Ashley Lawrence to offer the service. Ball driven in towards Nichelle Prince, but the captain, Carly Lloyd, with the header clear. Now Morgan Bryant. Clearance falls to Rian Wilkerson. Back to Kanisha Buchanan. Tancredi the header. Lloyd the half clearance. Ball bouncing around at the top of the American box. Eventually steered away by Alex Morgan. Wilkinson. Well-driven ball, but no test for the great Hope Solo.
Hope Solo was already off her line. One thing you can't do is you can't really catch Hope Solo by surprise. She's always engaged into the game. Her concentration is legendary. That's not actually a difficult serve for her to go up and grab because she isn't being challenged at all by any Canadian player. Prince tried to get there, but she wasn't there fast enough. And remember, Prince is starting instead of Sinclair. This is a young player, a senior at Ohio State University, incredibly fast, can get in behind the United States, but she's learning the nuances of playing at this level against one of the best defenses in the game.
Becky Sauerbrunn, her first touch of the game to Klingenberg. Ping it back and forth with Mallory Pugh. Canadians, Kate, early on applying some high pressure.
They always do that in the first 20 minutes of every single game this tournament. They want to keep the ball in the opponent's end and gain their confidence. I love that as a defender when our team would get the ball and we all could touch it and find our rhythm in the opponent's half, not in ours.
Hope Solo with some very interesting comments leading up to this game. Said she thinks it's more of a rivalry for Canada than for the United States, and compared the Canadian style to American football. I'm sure they did not take well to that.
The Canadians are legendary for making really incredibly interesting comments in the paper about the United States, and I think that's one of the first times we've seen an American come back and do the same thing.
What's a rivalry without a little trash talk? So take a look at Lindsey Horan. And John Herdman, you'll notice, not down on the bench. He does this every match. I assume, Kate, to just get a different perspective on the match.
Yeah, he wants to go up. He wants to see the shape of the other team. He wants to see how they're responding to pressure. And then he's going to go in at halftime and try to tweak whatever needs fixing with that kind of perspective in mind.
Stephanie Labbé, the goaltender tonight for Canada, in favor of the usual starter, Aaron McLeod. McLeod dealing with a knee injury. She fought through it in the semifinal, though really labored through the warm-ups against Trinidad and Tobago, against Costa Rica. Wasn't really tested too much in that match, but she gets the break today. Prince under pressure, drops it to Rebecca Quinn. Another one of these young players for Herdman. Through ball nearly picks out Alex Morgan, but Shalina Zadorsky answers the first American foray into Canada's final third. Collision on the American side of midfield. Wilkinson called for the foul. Bryan going over the top. They get another crack at it here. 5 minutes in, 0-0, US and Canada. Again, both these teams going to Rio. As Julie Johnston advances the ball for the US. Horan, Bryan, a pair of up-and-coming stars in midfield. Long ball into the Canadian box. Labbé gathers comfortably. Labbé, 29 years old, plays for the Washington Spirit of the National Women's Soccer League. Lawrence looking for Prince. Desiree Scott. Klingenberg. They have lost that ball, but managed to play it well. Now finds Mallory Pugh. What a talent, Mallory Pugh. Just 17 years old and cracking this lineup.
This is her third start, and what I think is impressive about her is that she reads a game well. She's very comfortable coming inside. She is right-footed, so you're going to see her cut in, so that's the reason why she's been placed on the left. They're really trying to build her ability to find a partnership with Alex Morgan up top and Carly Lloyd. Can she form those triangles?
Prince with a late challenge there on Hope Solo. And foul called against the Canadian forward. Maybe Hope knew what she was talking about when she said it was going to be a bloodbath.
Well, the United States needs to be better in their distribution. That's the second time Julie Johnson either she kicked it out for a corner kick, or this time with kind of a weak pass back to Solo. Solo didn't feel comfortable taking that as a one-touch, but you know what? The United States is going to have to be held accountable for the first time this tournament with their play around the back. And I think it's a good thing for them in terms of their development. This is what it's going to be like against the best teams. And Canada is the best team they'll play so far this year.
Wilkinson pressured by Pugh. Youth versus experience there. Wilkinson, 33 years old, 170 caps. Pugh, 17 years old, her 6th appearance with the senior national team today. I asked myself how long John Herdman will stay up there. In previous games, it's been the 15-20 minute mark. Wonder if he'll be a bit more anxious to get down to the sideline here going against the United States. Wilkinson on the near side. Ahead to Prince. Klingenberg gives chase.
Well, this is Prince's 2nd time getting called for a foul. You just can't put your arms on. Yeah, pulling Klingenberg's body apart. First her arm and then her upper torso. Prince has got some nerves. You gotta remember, this is the biggest game she has ever played in against the United States and getting the start. And to me, that's just a youth player with a little bit of inexperience trying to figure out the game.
Prince turning 21 on Friday. She's already got 3 goals in this competition. Johnston thumping it forward. No particular target. Chapman will play it back to LeBay. Kelly O'Hara in at the right back spot in favor of Allie Krieger. She'll author the throw in the 10th minute. Tobin Heath. Ball intercepted by Quinn. Neither team seems willing to take a chance in the early going.
Canada is compacting that middle. The key to play against the United States is to not let Lloyd or Bryant run free.
Morgan, the header here.
So you don't want to give them space. You give them space, they can create things.
Carly Lloyd applying the pressure. The Americans maintaining possession, the Canadian final third. Ball whipped into the box, LeBay off her line. Kadisha Buchanan. To Becky Sauerbrunn. Two of the best center backs in the world. LeBay unconvinced with her punt there, but last touch Mallory Pugh. Canada will keep it on this side of the American midfield. Jose Belanger has played most of this tournament as a right back. Now move forward a bit into midfield.
That's what the United States needs to do to break this Canadian pressure, what Bryant just did.
Tancredi, the header on. Johnston and Prince one-on-one. Johnston comes away with it and clears for a throw-in. Again, Kate, more communication issues at the back for the U.S.
Yeah, Johnson and Solo seem to be a little bit trying to figure out how to best communicate what each other wants.
Morgan, long ball in. Bryan gives chase. Belanger first to it and plays back to the Canadian goalie. Solo playing short to Klingenberg as the Americans try to build possession out of the back. Sauerbrunn. making her 100th senior team appearance today. Johnston now. Tancredi with the pressure. Johnston turns away. Now finds Tobin Heath. Heath slicing and dicing. Klingenberg with space to serve. Lloyd over the top, just wide. And the Americans with the game's first real opportunity.
Well, the Americans are doing everything they can to keep the ball on the ground. And this started with smart play by Julie Johnston, 70 yards back. But a good ball by Klingenberg, an outswinger catch. LeBay, the goalkeeper from Canada, is going out to fish to get it, realizes she can't get to it. You know, remember, LeBay is getting a start, her first big start for her against America. This is the biggest game that she has played in thus far in her career. And she's so eager to make a big play right there. And she almost got punished for it.
Okay, we talked about the bad blood between these two teams. It really didn't start in that semifinal at the Olympics in 2012, but it kind of blew up in that match, didn't it?
The rivalry, or at least the competitiveness between the two teams is always there. The U.S., we never looked at it as a rivalry. We were just like, oh, here we go, Canada, because they wanted to beat us so badly. Credit to them, but 2012 in that Olympic game, Canada should have won that game.
Long ball over the top, another test for the American defense. Solo off her line is Tancredi, crashes into Johnston. And a quick whistle from the Mexican referee, Quetzali Alvarado.
And you mentioned the tensions between the two teams. You're seeing the key player for the United States has a lot of anger towards after her stomping of Carly Lloyd's head in 2012 as well. In that game, out of frustration, was Tancredi stomped on Lloyd's head. In this case, gets a bit too aggressive, trying to pressure Johnson. Johnson does a good job shielding Tancredi from the ball. Johnson's doing everything she's supposed to do, and every defender does that when your goalkeeper comes out to protect your goalie. And Tancredi pushes her over.
Canadians led 3 times in that epic semifinal, only to see a 123rd minute game winner from Alex Morgan. The U.S., of course, went on to win gold in London. The Canadians bounced back, to their credit, and won bronze in a great match, victory over France. Ran the header, Buchanan the clear. Very little give through 16 minutes at BBVA Compass Stadium in downtown Houston. Sauerbrunn controversially left off the recent FIFA Pro World 11. Morgan giving chase. Buchanan on that World 11, and she wins the free kick here.
Buchanan was one of the stars of the World Cup in Canada, holding Morgan off. Their feet get a bit tripped up, and Alex Morgan gets called with the foul. But yeah, that's a good call. It wasn't intentional. Morgan wasn't trying to hurt Kadisha Buchanan. She's trying to get the ball. Ball got away from her. That's a good call by the referee.
Buchanan plays collegiately at West Virginia University, along with her Canadian teammate Ashley Lawrence.
She's just incredibly composed. Nothing phases her. In one of her first biggest games, she played out against Wambach in 2014. And she beats Wambach in the air. It's bouncing ball. And she has the composure inside the 18 to bring it down on her foot and play out of pressure. I hadn't seen a center back who is new to the team do that at that level until Julie Johnston came on the team.
Tancredi, Belanger matching headers before Sauerbrunn clears. Tancredi throw in behind the American defense. Sauerbrunn a touch. Lawrence tried to keep it in. Couldn't do so. Goal kick to the U.S.
Tancredi as the forward has now come up to take the throw-in, which means Ashley Lawrence, the left outside mid, has to cover a lot of distance in order to get on the end of it.
Alicia Chapman throw the ball in here for Canada. Plays for the Houston Dash of the National Women's Soccer League. This is their home stadium. 28 players between these two rosters on NWSL teams. Solo. Making her 190th appearance. The most wins, most shutouts in U.S. soccer history. Bryan and Desiree Scott entangled. Bryan finds Pugh. Pugh turning. Poke through to Morgan. Morgan in the box. Play on, says the Mexican referee.
That's going to be a good matchup all day long. Pugh trying to take a touch through, but Quinn deflects it. And a pass to Morgan. From that angle, feet getting tangled up a bit again.
Moran clattered into from behind by Belanger, and we're going to see the match's first booking.
Yeah, I think that's more a matter of circumstance. I don't think Belanger, it was from behind. The angle of intent was in such a way she wasn't going to win that ball. But it's also an easy way for the referee to start to get in control of this game. There's been too many fouls, and some of which, especially the Tancredi one a little while ago, pushing Johnston. Now this one, there was no way Belanger was going to win that. It was from behind. That's an easy yellow to give. And hopefully the referee is going to hope that it settles these players down a bit.
Tancredi with an awkward touch. And the Americans take over. Klingenberg looking for Pugh. Wilkinson starts the Canadian counterattack. Chapman. John Herdman makes his way back down to the sidelines 20 minutes in. Took over the Canadian program in 2011 after 5 years in charge of the New Zealand women's national team. Moran, driven ball deep, Morgan again. But LeBay has not been shy about coming off her line early in this game.
That's excellent range from LeBay. He's known more for her distribution, her accuracy, and her ability to get over long distances, but she reads the ball in anticipation quite well.
Klingenberg finds Morgan Bryan. Bryan coming off her first professional season last year with the Houston Dash. Big part of the World Cup run for the Americans in Canada. Sabra. Beautiful through ball. Klingenberg. LeBay the swat. And Lloyd just off the mark.
There's a bit of miscommunication going over on that right side of flank of Canada. Brianne Wilkinson got the start it right back instead of Belanger, but that is causing some discord right there. Sauerbrunn, excellent through ball between the lines of Klingenberg. Klingenberg again hitting an outswinger over the top of LeBay's hand. And Lloyd trying to get something on it, isn't able to get her hips pointing towards the goal and at least redirect it. But remember, that timing has to be so critical for her. It's the hardest piece because she's coming from a deeper position. She has to get on her horse and get in line quickly. And sometimes it doesn't allow enough time to get your feet set.
Mallory Pugh with some fancy footwork in midfield as the Americans take over possession. Horan. Klingenberg the switch. Johnston, an elegant first touch. Now Lloyd springs Heath on the far sideline. Tobin Heath one-on-one. Heath to the back post. Horan's header just wide.
She's frustrated with herself on that. The middle is so tight right now. The only way anyone's going to create anything is from a wide position. The last two chances from the United States have come from service from the flanks. This time, Lindsey Horan, the other defensive center midfielder, has enough time to get forward and just can't get enough pace on the ball, and also not as accurate as she would have liked.
Horan and Heath know each other well. Played together at Paris Saint-Germain in France. Now both on the Portland Thorns. As is Megan Klingenberg. O'Hara under pressure, and it's stripped away by Canada. Tancredi leading the break. Lawrence across the box, solo there.
Well, Ashley Lawrence created that play. Disrupts the United States, trying to possess out of the back. Breaks it up. Tancredi finds her in the gap. Just unable to pull it away from Solo. Solo in good position, good footwork. Gets herself there. Is able to make an easy save.
Sauerbrunn, another beautiful pass. This time to Mallory Pugh. Buchanan, the sliding challenge. Pugh and Buchanan doing battle. And the young American earns possession for her side.
Buchanan, the right center back, has to come out wide and tackle. Look at that. Goes all ball, and then Pugh a little bit as well. That's a great tackle.
Morgan Bryan. Horan. Long touch. Can Pugh keep it in? Yes. Belanger forcing the 17-year-old back. And Sauerbrunn will switch through Johnston. Horan, long touch. Rebecca Quinn comes away with it. In the center of the park for this American team. Heath switching. Horan checking all the way back to find the service. Morgan, one touch to Pugh. And a whistle will give possession back to Canada.
Don't know what that was.
27 minutes in, 0-0 US and Canada. United States, thanks to a 5-0 victory over Trinidad and Tobago, punched their ticket to Rio on Friday at BBVA Compass Stadium. Just before that, Canada, a convincing 3-1 win over Costa Rica. Both these teams medaled at the 2012 games. US gold, Canada bronze. Belanger looking for Lawrence on the far side. Kelly O'Hara with the stop. Lloyd wanted the ball down the far sideline. Heath couldn't get it to her. Now Canada on the break. Chapman driven in towards Prince. Quinn with time. Chapman, the LSU grad, pumping it in. No worries for Hope Solo. Awkward bounce near the top of the American penalty area. Horan, nice pass to Carly Lloyd. Morgan took a shot from behind from Shalina Zadorsky, who's called for the foul. Morgan on the ball, 8th all-time for the U.S. with 62 career international goals. Lloyd and Buchanan head-to-head, and this will set up a dangerous set piece for the United States.
The little hits, the little nags, the little extra push that's not necessary. Buchanan, her body, her momentum is still moving forward when she jumps up and gets Lloyd in the back. That's the right call. You have to go straight up when you're going to challenge for a head ball.
Lloyd, the 2015 Ballon d'Or winner. Buchanan, voted the best young player at last summer's World Cup. Morgan Bryan, the only American standing over this free kick. Bryan, driven in, Johnston, away by Canada. An American player down in the box as the ball trickles out of play. And it's Alex Morgan.
That's the second time she's come up after a bit of a scuffle with the Canadians, limping a little bit. An in-swinger from Morgan Bryan, kind of testing LaVey's decision-making as well as trying to find Julie Johnson, who's excellent at reading the fly of the ball, but she's double-teamed and not able to get something on it. And again, they're stepping on each other, they're pushing and fighting. And Alex Morgan is fearless. She's going to get involved in those little skirmishes. That's part of the reason what makes her so good, is that she just run into spaces that some people don't want to run into. That's something she also has to be careful of, because she's such a valuable commodity for the United States women's national team. Just picking and choosing her moments, but there's nothing she could have done about that one. She's doing her job.
And Morgan has had some injury issues in the past, especially with ankles. So something to keep an eye on as this match progresses. Morgan, 5 goals in this tournament. 1 off the overall competition lead. That belongs to Crystal Dunn of the United States, currently on the bench for Jill Ellis, and Raquel Rodriguez of Costa Rica. O'Hara, Bryan, now Heath. The pressure from Canada in midfield, suffocating at times, but the Americans managed to maintain possession. Heath, running out of options, moving forward, chooses to go back to Julie Johnston. And now all the way back to Hope Solo. Bryan brings it down to the captain, Lloyd. Lloyd loses out, but it'll be last touched by Nichelle Prince.
The U.S. is staying committed to their game plan. Their strategy was try to use possession on the ground to break down Canada, to break down a well-organized side. That's why you see them trying to pass the ball around the pressure, solve it. And they're not just whooping it over the top. It may not come to something, but Jill Ellis doesn't care, because it's about a process. It's about building for the future 8 months.
Scott over the top. Johnston clears it off of Wilkinson. U.S. slightly caught on the break, but avoid any issues in the 33rd minute.
Just an expanded shape with Klingenberg up, trying to set play. Rhiannon Wilkinson, the right back from Canada, hustles her way. That is one of the hardest working right backs that I think has ever played the game. She's always a consistent force for this team.
Wilkinson, a graduate of the University of Tennessee, was the captain for Canada in their group phase finale, a convincing win over Guatemala.
Lloyd and Quinn scuffle, and it's the follow-through with Lloyd with their other foot. That Quinn, who's getting her biggest start in her career as a young player, plays at Duke, took this semester off.
She'll offer the service here, and Horan heads away. Can Heath keep it in? Yes. The dynamic winger. Surging forward for the U.S. Running at Desiree Scott. O'Hara and Heath. Dangerous combination on the right flank for the U.S. Lloyd looking for Morgan. But the passing lanes ever so tight as the Americans get closer and closer to that Canadian goal.
Yeah, definitely just lack a little precision in that pass, in that entry pass into Morgan when she's checking back. But that's something that the United States has realized has been a weakness, and that's something that Carly Lloyd is trying to work on with that relationship with Alex Morgan. What type of ball does she want when she's checking to? When is she checking away, and what type of ball does she want there? That's going to continually evolve over the next couple of months. Because that's two of the greatest players, and if you get them firing on full cylinders, imagine the damage that they could do.
Mallory Pugh running at the Canadian box. Wilkinson, great recovery run. O'Hara now. O'Hara driven in, LeBay swats away.
Remember, O'Hara is a converted forward. I don't think she's shooting this. I do think she's intending that for a cross, but isn't able to bend it away from LeBay. Just keeping her a bit honest.
Morgan Bryan to take this corner kick. Driven ball into the box. Salbram, the header down. Heath. Prince away. Ryan played at the University of Virginia, now to Klingenberg. Last time these two teams met, May 2014 in Winnipeg, a friendly, if you want to call it that. Game finished in a 1-1 tie. Your goal scorers, Katisha Buchanan and Sydney Leroux. Kate Leroux's decision to represent the United States instead of her native Canada, part of the storyline in that rivalry and the bad blood between these two teams.
Absolutely. She made a choice to play for the United States because her dad is American and her mom is Canadian. And that's a choice that she made, and I get the fact that Canada would be upset because she played for the U team. They invested in her. But she was looking at college, and she was looking at what team she wanted to play on when she grew up, and that is something that she chose. And the Canadian fans, I understand why they're upset, but I would have made the same choice.
People can understand maybe why Canadian fans were upset. Sometimes the way in which they voiced that displeasure turned folks off. Heath to Pugh. Pugh racing around LeBay, keeps it in bounds. O'Hara the cross. Lloyd. Desperate defense from the Canadians. Look at the hustle. Lindsay Horan, one-on-one with Wilkinson. Bryan into the box. Morgan Bryan. Klingenberg. Shot from Lloyd. Deflected out of bounds. Corner kick, United States. The pressure pouring down on the Canadian penalty area.
The U.S. is finding success when they create from the width between the interchange of O'Hara and Heath, creating that. And then it's a sustained attack. Goes up on the other side. They reestablish the width and a bouncing ball. The United States earns another corner kick.
It'll be Morgan Bryan again. 7 minutes from halftime. CONCACAF bragging rights on the line. LeBay swats at it. Lloyd hauled down. And the call goes against the American attacker.
Lloyd does not like that, and Tancredi is running away. Well, this is lining up to be a typical United States-Canada game. LeBay comes out, doesn't clear it cleanly. I do not see how that is not a penalty kick for the United States from the referee's vantage point. The only thing I can think she thinks is that Lloyd ran into Tancredi, but that is absolutely not the case. That absolutely should have been a penalty kick for the United States due to reckless play of Melissa Tancredi, leaving her feet and scissoring Carly Lloyd.
The fact that it wasn't called a penalty kick is one thing. The fact that Lloyd was then called for the foul.
I just wonder about her vantage point for the referee. This is what we talked about at the beginning of the game. The level and the quality of the refereeing has to be up to the level of play. And I don't know. See how the next rest of the game turns out. But right now, it's on that edge.
It's difficult because these referees from countries with less developed women's soccer programs just haven't seen the game at this level, really.
Right, and the referee's from Mexico. The referee can't be from Canada. The referee can't be from the United States. They're worried about bias. I can see a little Tobin Heath. And I got to imagine a card is going to be coming out soon for the next foul. That's a little bit on that edge, and it could go either way because the referee has got to get control of this game again.
Klingenberg on the near sideline. Klingenberg, Sauerbrunn, Johnston, all huge parts of the American defensive effort en route to a World Cup title last summer. Johnston again, advancing the ball herself.
And that's what Canada wants. If you've noticed, they keep letting Sauerbrunn kind of staying off of her, not really pressuring her to make a decision. But notice every time Johnston gets the ball, Canada is stepping up on her. They want her to have to play make from that position. We get to see another look of it. Punches out. Lloyd's going from it. The only reason why the referee thinks that might have been Lloyd is she is at that angle where she thinks Lloyd took Tancredi down. But it was more the follow-through for me with Tancredi's other leg, which makes me think it's a penalty kick.
Heath, Lawrence. Lawrence wins that one-on-one battle. Nichelle Prince on the ball. Ball off of Julie Johnston's arm will draw a free kick for Canada. 42 minutes in. Not a whole lot of separation yet between these two, though the U.S. have had the better chances. Missed touch from Rian Wilkinson. Moran slips as she delivers. Still almost managed to find Alex Morgan. Sloppy pass from Lloyd. And here comes Ashley Lawrence. Lawrence turning upfield to Prince, who is offside.
Recall, the United States hasn't played against a team A of this caliber or B against a team that's going to come out in this defensive pressure. We get to see, to me, Sauerbrunn looked like she was keeping Prince onside and that she wasn't offside in that. It was a very close call, but the United States hasn't played against an organized side as Canada yet, nor a side that's pressuring them as high as that. It's forcing their ability to play make out of the back, and they're getting exposed when it's not good enough.
Buchanan downfield. The Americans really doing a nice job with possession and defense. Lloyd racing through a challenge from Buchanan. It'll be an American throw-in. Belanger intercepts and clears. Worth noting how much talent and experience is on this Canadian bench. Diana Matheson, Christine Sinclair, Deanne Rose, 16-year-old who already has 3 goals in this tournament. Not to mention goalie Erin McLeod, Sophie Schmidt. So John Herdman has plenty of options should he choose to go to his bench in the second half.
And you can't say that about the United States. With all the retirements, with all the pregnancies, with the injuries to Megan Rapinoe, there has been a brain drain, so to speak.
O'Hara. And Kelly O'Hara is still down near the far sideline.
Remember, Kelly O'Hara took a huge knock in the last game on her ankle. Ashley Lawrence gives her a little push and plants awkwardly when she's going down.
Hope Solo said it. The U.S. never seems to play their best against Canada because of the physical play. I don't know about you, Kate, starting to sense some frustration here from the U.S.
I think the key part is, I think in the second part of that phrase that she used, or quotation, was that we just tend to get frustrated. And that just, when that frustration happens, you forget the game plan. You kind of get in your own head, and you go back to what's instinctive to you. You go back to, if it's your long ball, you like to hit long balls, you hit that. But it's trying to force these players to stay committed to the game plan of breaking down Canada on the ground with possession. And the only time they've done that is when they start out wide, or when it bounces over and they reestablish the width. They need to try to find that wide area because Canada's too good in the middle right now.
No stoppage time, and through 45 minutes, we have yet to light up the scoreboard. Carly Lloyd has come close on a couple occasions.
Now, we expected a competitive match, and that's definitely what we're going to get. I'm excited to see what the second half, and to see if Christine Sinclair from Canada, their all-time leading goal scorer, is going to come onto this game and make an impact.
161 goals for Christine Sinclair, second all-time. John Herdman has options, to say the least. Kate Markgraf, Sebastian Salazar going to take a quick break. On the other side, the second half of the United States and Canada for the championship of CONCACAF